After that deadly riot on Capitol Hill, calls are growing to impeach the president again. And Fox 5 political analyst Carl Luna joins us now with what could happen in the next few days. Carl, thanks for joining us as always. With the president's term so close to ending here 9 days from now, help us understand the point of impeaching him right now.
Well, Andrew, for those Democrats who want to start this process in the House, the point is the historical record. They're of the view, and something like 70% of Americans tend to support it, the president did something wrong the last Wednesday when his statements helped to incite people to storm the Congress. Question is, what do you do to hold him accountable? If he's impeached, he'll go down in history as the only president to be impeached twice. The Senate could conceivably try and convict him after he leaves office, then he can't run for office again. But it's all about an issue. Should he be held accountable for this? Or his supporters say he was actually trying to defend democracy with an election and try to protect people's rights. This is something history needs to resolve.
Yeah, how likely do you think it is that this, in fact, happens, that he is convicted in this case? And how much does it change the fact that members of the House, members of the Senate actually, were personally, physically at risk?
Yeah, I think, Andrew, first off, the impeachment is almost inevitable. The House can move very quickly, convene as the committee of the whole, and vote this on Wednesday. But then that goes over. They'll have to wait till regular session for the Senate to resume. They walk it over, and then the Senate will have to start the process of a trial. Now, they could, Mitch McConnell, the very first day before the inauguration, could try to circumvent it by simply having a vote to dispense with it, to turn down the conviction from the prosecution from the House. I don't think that's likely. I think just what you said, the fact that so many members of Congress feared for their lives and had staff that depends on them fearful, I think they're going to take a more wait and see action. And I think there's a good likelihood that we could get a trial of this after Joe Biden becomes president.
When does Schumer become the majority leader?
Sometime after Kamala Harris takes the oath of office as vice president, and as soon as she adjourns, goes to the Senate, and the Senate convenes, they will go through the procedure by which they will establish that the Democrats are the majority party, and Chuck Schumer takes over the majority chair, which means he gets to set the calendar moving forward. Now, the concern of a lot of Democrats, like the incoming president, is they don't want this impeachment and trial to suck all the air out of the room for his own agenda. This is the challenge to Democrats. How do you both remove a president who has already been removed and actually conduct governing?
For those who are on Capitol Hill who say, the president is a danger to our society, this has to happen now, but then it's getting kind of pushed back, or they're even talking about maybe doing this after his presidency is over. How do those two things square between he's a danger, we need him out, and we'll get to it at some point in the near future?
No, what squares them out there, Andrew, is the basic constitutional process. Our system is not made to move all that quickly. So at least you get it into the record. And the hope is perhaps all this will cause the president to reconsider and back off. I think that more than anything, being removed from Twitter, from Facebook, from social media has left the president largely defanged in his ability to reach out to his base and mobilize it. That may well have done a bigger impact on containing the president's actions. His supporters are going to see it as muzzling the president. His opponents are going to say it's for the good of the democracy. So we'll take what we can get and hold him accountable later.
What do you anticipate, Carl, finally here in the next few days? What should we expect to see here through the week? We don't believe that the 25th Amendment is going to be invoked by Vice President Pence, especially after they met today. What happens Wednesday going forward?
The House votes articles of impeachment after a debate on the floor. Then they get transmitted over to the Senate. Sometime next week, the Senate has to think about how they're going to take it up. So I don't really see anything removing Donald Trump before he leaves office at noon on the 20th. The question then is, how does this play out in the streets with people promising protests around the country? Do we get a repeat of last Wednesday, or do people figure it's over and it's time to move on?
All right, we'll be following, obviously, every step of the way. Carl Luna, thank you very much for the insight, as always.